My name is Daniel. For nearly 9 years, I worked as a search and rescue officer in a remote national forest deep in the mountains of Colorado. Our job sounded simple. Find people who got lost, and bring them home. Most of the time, that's exactly what we did. Hikers wandered off trails. Campers underestimated the wilderness. Children got separated from their families. Usually, we found them within a few hours. But one case changed everything. It happened in late October. The air was freezing, and the sun had already disappeared behind the mountains when we received an emergency call. A family had been camping near Pine Valley. Their 12-year-old son, Ethan, had vanished without a trace. According to his parents, they looked away for less than a minute. When they turned back, he was gone. No screams. No footprints leading away. No signs of a struggle. The only thing left behind was his flashlight. Oddly enough, the battery compartment had been opened, but the batteries were still inside. It didn't make any sense. Within an hour, our entire rescue team was on site. 3 search teams. 2 tracking dogs. Thermal drones. We searched every inch of the area. But something felt wrong. The dogs kept following the same trail before suddenly stopping. They refused to go any farther. They weren't distracted. They were terrified. The forest was strangely silent. There was no wind. Not even insects. Yet the pine trees ahead of us swayed as if something enormous was moving between them. Around midnight, my radio suddenly came to life. A weak voice whispered, "Help me." It sounded exactly like Ethan. My partner and I immediately ran toward the signal. The voice led us to an old wooden watchtower. Neither of us remembered seeing it on the park maps. The structure looked ancient. The wood was weathered and cracked. Yet somehow, it looked strangely untouched. Like someone still took care of it. I started climbing the stairs. Each step groaned beneath my boots. When I reached the top, the tower was empty. No Ethan. No footprints. Nothing. Just a single wooden chair, and Ethan's backpack lying on the floor. Everything was still inside. His water bottle. His food. His phone. It was as if someone had carefully placed it there. Then, my radio crackled again. "Officer." This time, the voice didn't come from the radio. It came from directly behind me. I spun around. No one. But beyond the railing, far below in the darkness, I saw 2 pale eyes staring back at me. No face. No body. Just 2 motionless eyes. Then, they blinked. And disappeared. Every instinct told me to leave. I rushed toward the stairs. But something was wrong. The tower only had 2 levels. Yet I kept climbing down, and down, and down. The staircase never seemed to end. My radio exploded with static. Then I heard my team shouting. "Daniel! Where are you?" Their voices grew weaker, farther away, until everything went silent. The next thing I knew, I was standing at the bottom of the tower. My entire team was waiting for me. They looked terrified. My partner grabbed my shoulders. "Where the hell have you been?" I laughed nervously. "I was only up there for 10 minutes. His face turned completely pale. "You disappeared for 6 hours. I thought he was joking. Until he showed me the body camera footage. The video clearly showed me walking into the tower. But, I never came back out. Not once. For 6 straight hours. The next morning, we returned to the exact same location. The watchtower was gone. There was nothing there. No foundation. No broken wood. No signs that a tower had ever existed. It was as if it had vanished overnight. We searched for Ethan for another 5 days. We never found him. No trace. No evidence. Nothing. I continued working in search and rescue for several more years. But after that mission, whenever a missing persons report mentions they were last seen near Pine Valley, I refuse the assignment. Because I no longer believe people simply get lost out there. I believe, something in those woods is still waiting. My name isn't important. For legal reasons, I won't say which state I worked in, but I spent almost 11 years as a search and rescue officer in one of the largest protected forests in the United States. Most people think our job is exciting. Sometimes it is. Most of the time, it's exhausting. You spend hours walking through thick forests, climbing steep hills, searching rivers, caves, and abandoned trails. Most missing people are eventually found. Cold. Hungry. Scared. But alive. Then there are the other cases. The ones that never appear in newspapers. The ones nobody likes talking about. Every SAR team has unwritten rules. Things new recruits aren't supposed to question. On my first day, an older team leader named Carter handed me my radio and said something that made absolutely no sense. If a missing person's radio starts transmitting after midnight. He looked me directly in the eyes. Don't answer it. I laughed. I honestly thought he was joking. So we're supposed to ignore someone asking for help? He didn't smile. No. He said quietly. You're supposed to ignore whatever is pretending to be them. Nobody else said a word. The room suddenly became very quiet. I figured it was just another way experienced rescuers messed with the new guys. Over time, I forgot about it. 3 years passed. Hundreds of rescue calls. Nothing strange happened. Until one rainy Friday in October. At 4:18 p.m., dispatch received an emergency call. A 29-year-old backpacker named Noah Walker hadn't returned from a 3-day solo hike. His wife wasn't worried at first. Noah knew the forest well. He had GPS equipment. Emergency supplies. Extra batteries. A satellite communicator. He'd completed the same route twice before. But this time, his last message was different. It simply read, I think someone's following me. Nothing else. No location. No explanation. His phone went offline 2 minutes later. By sunset, 6 of us were already heading into the forest. The weather wasn't helping. Heavy rain had washed away most footprints. The temperature was dropping fast. If Noah was injured, he wouldn't survive the night without help. We reached his campsite around 8 p.m. Everything looked normal. His tent was still standing. His sleeping bag was inside. Food was untouched. The campfire had burned itself out. But Noah was gone. Ryan searched the area with a flashlight. Looks like he walked away in a hurry. I looked at the ground. There were footprints. One set belonged to Noah. The other, bare feet. Deep impressions in the mud, much larger than any normal person's feet. Ryan noticed them too. That's strange. Carter immediately interrupted him. We're not here to investigate footprints. His voice sounded sharper than usual. We find Noah first. Nobody argued. Around midnight, the rain finally stopped. The forest became completely silent. Then, my radio crackled. Static. Then a man's voice. Weak. Breathing hard. This is Noah. Every member of our team froze. If anyone can hear me. The signal was surprisingly clear. Please don't let it find me. Ryan immediately reached for his map. I've got a direction. But before anyone moved, Carter grabbed his arm. Nobody follows that signal. Ryan stared at him. What are you talking about? That's him. Carter slowly shook his head. No. His face had gone completely pale. That's exactly what it wants us to believe. No one spoke. The only sound was the radio. Please. I'm cold. I can hear you. Then. The transmission changed. The breathing stopped. The voice became perfectly calm. Almost cheerful. Why aren't you coming? At that exact moment, every flashlight in our group flickered. Not once. Not twice. Over and over again. Like someone was switching them on and off. Then all 6 radios activated together. Different voices. Different people. Men. Women. Children. All talking at the same time. Every one of them saying the same sentence. Come find us. Ryan ripped the battery out of his radio. The voices continued. Even though the radio had no power. That's when Carter shouted something I'd never heard before. Nobody look into the trees. Without thinking, I looked anyway. About 30 yards away, between 2 enormous pine trees, someone was standing there. Completely still. Too tall. Too thin. Its face was hidden behind the darkness. But I knew, it was looking directly at us. Then it slowly raised one hand. And, it waved.